Why do biblical scholars believe the Gospel of Mark was written first? And does it really matter? Hi, I'm Cosaert, the writer and the host of Reliving Mark, Discovering Jesus in Israel. Welcome to Digging Deeper, where I visit with prominent New Testament scholars about important issues related to the Gospel of Mark. Over the next 4 episodes of Digging Deeper, my guest will be Dr. Tom Shepherd. Dr. Shepherd teaches at the Seventh-day Adventist Theological Seminary at Andrews University. He's written all kinds of articles about the Gospel of Mark and commentaries, so he really knows his material. Dr. Shepherd, welcome to Digging Deeper. And let's jump in with that first question. Why do biblical scholars believe the Gospel of Mark was written first?
All right, so we have 4 Gospels in the Bible, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. And people wonder sometimes which one of them was written first. Church tradition actually pointed to Matthew and Luke being written first, but scholars in the 1900s came to the conclusion actually that the Gospel of Mark was written first. Everybody agrees that John was written last. So Mark's Gospel being the shortest one, and its Greek is a little bit rougher than the other two, and there seems to be some literary relationship between them, scholars came to the conclusion that Mark was probably written first.
So if church tradition points to Matthew and Luke as having written their Gospels first, why do biblical scholars believe that Mark actually was written first?
Well, it is shorter, and its Greek is not as smooth as that of Matthew or especially Luke. And these 3 Gospels together, they have a lot of stories in common, so they're called synoptic gospels, seen together, the same thing. Sometimes their wording is almost exactly alike. And so there's a very complex relationship between these 3 Gospels. Mark being the shortest, people think, well, okay, maybe Matthew and Luke used Mark. They improved the Greek maybe and smoothed it out a bit. Mark really doesn't have much material that's just found in Mark. And there's a number of other reasons that they think that Mark may have been written first, but a lot of the reasons link into those kinds of ideas.
So does it really matter which of the Gospels was actually written first?
When I raise this question with students in class, I get like, oh, that's very interesting, Dr. Shepherd, you know, it's, who cares which one was written first? Actually, it makes a fair bit of important differences in terms of interpretation. If Mark was written first, and Matthew and Luke used Mark, scholars like to ask questions, well, did Matthew change anything? And if he did, you know, how did he change it? And why did he change it? And so they're kind of trying to get at the special character of each Gospel's theology through this type of question. Myself, I'm more of the opinion that these Gospels developed from oral traditions about Jesus, and the relationships are so complex that it's a little hard to see exactly which one was written first and how the literary relationships work. So I'm a little hesitant when people start to say, oh, Matthew changed Mark. I say, well, let's be a little more cautious about that and think about Matthew for Matthew, Mark for Mark, Luke for Luke. Each Gospel has its own particular telling and themes of the story of Jesus, and we are enriched by having these 4 Gospels in our Bible.
So since the Gospel of Mark was actually written first, that means it's not just a summary of the other Gospels, but in fact it's breaking new ground. It's our earliest portrait of Jesus. So I invite you to join me as I continue this conversation with Dr. Shepherd in our next episode of Digging Deeper. In that episode, we'll be looking at who wrote the Gospel of Mark and what do we know about that person. So I hope you can join me for that. Until then, thanks for watching and take care.